Along with planning and zoning, they need to get in front of our faces and talk and hear the best informed experts respond to this. This process of the chairettes is not adequate.
Thank you for that. Okay, I'm going to go here and here. Well, actually, let's do the because I had pointed to her first. Okay, and then you. Go ahead. Sure.
My name is Linda. I live currently on Magnolia. I've lived in the 48th Ward for 48 years. First on Kenmore, and now on Magnolia. So what I want to say is, yes, the local community, I put that in emphasis, should have input. And local means west side versus east side. When I lived on Kenmore, at that time when I moved in, it was called Arson Alley. And I want to say, for all the people here who are bad-mouthing the people who raised the quality of the neighborhood, remember, when we came here, we came here to make things better. And we did make things better.
Now it's our turn.
And speaking of that, I want to say also, I want to take a moment to thank our alderman for coming. Everyone should give her a round of applause.
Work together.
Okay, so on the west side, we have a very unusual situation. We have an alley that backs up right to retail. If we have 8-story buildings there, we will be literally eclipsed by those buildings. We have a narrow alley, we have no separation, and don't forget the lots themselves are smaller. So there isn't room for a lot of loading or parking or that kind of thing. It's all going to be backed up into the neighborhood. If you look at Balmoral, heading east on Balmoral in the morning, from 7:45 in the morning until approximately 9, there's a line that goes back 3 or 4 blocks. The people are so frustrated trying to get to Broadway that they turn into the alleys, including bad alleys. They give up on every road. They turn down Magnolia and they turn down the alleys. Check it out. It's like we don't have room for more housing.
That is excellent to do that kind of a study.
Yeah, I would love to have that kind of study. And I also want to say one final thing.
Okay.
In this study, please do study in this transit-based housing how many people own cars, because I applaud those who give up cars. Fabulous, terrific for you. Those who don't, they'd like to be able to commute back and forth to work or whatever they're doing. That's fine, but for leisure and travel of their own, they want pedestrian. And what do? They park on the west side of Broadway because they use their car on the weekend. They can leave it there a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm done.
All right. No, thank you very much for that. Okay, we're going to go to the next question. Question, yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Anthony Pence. I'm the president of the Edgewater Triangle Neighborhood Association. Please join your block clubs so you can participate in these types of conversations. But I've lived near Broadway for over 10 years now, and I'm also an incoming SAC member, so excited to have more conversations about zoning. On behalf of Aetna, we wrote a letter specifically to the Alderwoman asking for more community engagement. So I'm really glad to see you here. I know this is very important to our neighbors. Also, thanks to Pat and Jack and everyone on the panel for putting this together. Today, I'm just going to speak on behalf of myself, though, and for other young people and young families in Aetna, specifically, who joined our quarterly meeting this week. Many for the first time, they became dues-paying members of our block club, which was really exciting to see. I think a core value of mine is community, and contributing to this process is very meaningful to me, and that's why I first got involved. And I think that, frankly, many of the actions of block clubs, unfortunately, have resulted in the progress of more building in our neighborhoods, and we need to be aware of that. As a recent renter and a first-time homeowner, I can say that the process of finding decent, affordable housing is nearly impossible in our ward, much like the experiences of others that have been shared today. Our neighborhood is an amazing place to live. Yeah, sure, I can get to my questions, but I had lots of time to comment on other perspectives.
I do respect that.
But cities need to grow and evolve to survive. It's been 20 years since this referendum. Our needs have changed as a community. This is our time to provide input, and this is what we're doing. I know this issue is complex, so my questions are probably a little bit more rhetorical and reflective for all of us in this room. So what's wrong with adding 10,000 units of housing? We can see in other cities, like Austin has been quoted very recently in the news, adding a lot of housing, prices of rents are going down. If we describe this Broadway as a canyon in the future, can we recognize that there's a highway in between these tall buildings that currently affect the character of our neighborhood? How can we say that we're actually for housing, but keep saying that it can't happen here?
Okay.
Why can development occur only on the east side of Broadway and
Okay,
in
those
Uptown?
are questions, yeah.
Why can't it happen now, but maybe we'll consider it in the future?
Okay.
How can we keep complaining about shadows or the character of a street when that street has a highway, plus parking that divides our neighborhoods is littered with underutilized and vacant lots?
Okay, all right.
At what point do we recognize that a lot of the privileged few here in this room are stopping something that would benefit our greater community, the city, and future generations that want to live here?
I think I need to bring it back to the panel to answer.
Yes, yeah, definitely, yeah.
I'll just say, I don't think, and I'll speak for Jack and the rest of up here, no one of us are against 10,000 units in this neighborhood. Nobody's against that. This panel, speaking for all three of us, if that came across, that is not what we meant.
Jack opposed most
What
of
we
the
are
development.
saying, did you oppose it?
Several
I
times.
think is you gotta be careful. I think
Yeah, okay.
what you need to recognize, 10,000, that's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's equal to everything on Winthrop
Make
and
no small
Kenmore.
plans.
So
Yeah.
it should be, what'd you say?
Make no small.
You guys referred to
No,
it
let me-
earlier.
let me-
Make
let
no
me
small
answer.
plans.
Okay.
So I just,
There is a plan. There is a
that's what I
plan.
was gonna say. The 10,000 units need to be in the right place, on the right pieces of land, with all the other considerations that I spoke about that the Clark Street Crossroads project considered. If we can do that, we can do it fast, and we can make it happen. It's just, we need a plan. Otherwise, blanket zoning only lets developers do one-off developments on every single piece of land that that developer wants to find.
This is talking about as a, please, when you guys say you're against housing, you're against zoning, right now today, 4-story buildings are allowed all over the west side of Broadway. That's allowed today, and it's occurring. And you can see 5- and 6-story buildings going up there, as we just at the
In
ZAC.
spite of the block clubs.
No, not in spite of the block club. Why do you say in spite?
Because sitting in the meetings
All right,
that I've sat
okay.
with
No,
you,
that's
are
wrong.
often the
Okay,
opposition.
all right.
Wait, I'm not,
Okay,
wait one second. On the,
We are going to have problems if people are going to attack each other, okay? So don't attack, please. All right? You've attacked elderly
I
people
know,
already,
I'm-
and now you're
yes,
attacking block clubs.
I'm speaking
So
for what actually
nobody
happened.
here, what you're not listening to is that nobody is saying don't do it. We're saying how to do it. But you're not listening. But please do
I
not
hear you.
attack
I hear you.
anybody. No
I
attack.
hear you.
Okay, all right, we're gonna pull it back. Go
So I
ahead,
just
Jack.
want to say, there's actually, number one, the community's dense. Number two, the community accepts density. Number three, already you can build 4-story buildings as of right on the west side of Broadway. You can build 5- and 6-story buildings. And I thought I demonstrated on the presentation is many developments actually go past that. One of the questions here, what this is about, if you recognize today you could build 4-story and 6-story buildings on the west and east side, to go beyond that, as a matter of fact, it requires consultation with the community and with the aldermen, and it requires a zoning change. So I would assume that, so you guys, what level do you think that's appropriate? Would you say for single-family homes, if it's more than a single-family home, you have to talk to the community? No, nobody's saying that. Right now it's at 4 stories and it's at 6 stories on the other side of the street. This one, for the DPD thing, basically says the as-of-right development will go to 8
And
stories.
many of us are accepting that.
What?
Many of us are saying that we
I know you
accept
do,
that.
but that's the question. That's the
Yeah.
question. Should you go to 8? You're not going to 25 on the east and west side. You've decided, or they've decided, not you, they've decided 8 is an appropriate amount to say that's as of right, and above that would require a PD or an ordinance change.
Okay.
So
All
that's
right,
the question, what level should that be at?
The
Okay.
reason this is important is this question is separated out because we're talking about the process by which these things happen. Is it one that involves the community or not? When it gets bigger, it's the process. Please
Yes.
focus on the process.
Yes, yes, okay, and I have been promising you an opportunity to speak, okay? We have about 15 more minutes, and we'll go ahead after this, after you speak, then I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to topic number 3, okay? All right, go ahead.
My name is Michael, and I live on the corner of Foster and Sheridan, and I'm a member of the Edgewater Beach Neighborhood Association. I have never driven a car in my life, and that is one reason that I like living in Edgewater, aside from having all my friends and family also living here for a very long time. And so I think one of the things people talking about, just one tiny thing I wanted to mention is that people talk about Sheridan Road, and as far as I know, this spring, I believe IDOT is going to be doing a study about how to possibly improve Sheridan Road, so people should look forward to meetings about that. Second thing is there's talk about how it's all one size fits all from north to south. Thing is that this is right next to and parallel to the red line, and the red line stops here are very close together. So if you look about the ETOD circle, what do you call it, radius, likely it all fits in there anyway. So I don't know that there's all kinds of different variations that would go along that corridor. So that was mostly my potential of that. And the final thing I have about the process is that yes, we constantly have these one-off things that get proposed and people shout them down. We had a dead 7-Eleven on Clark that people wanted to propose a 5-story building there, and we were told that it was out of character, and we ended up with a single-story suburban-style pizza store. Which, you know, I like pizza, but that building is not exactly the Taj Mahal of architecture for this neighborhood. And I will just, it only seems to go like that, and that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
All right. Call me.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Okay. I'm going to slow this down just for a second. Show of hands of people who have lived here 10 years or less. Less, yeah, right.
Why
I'm
is
going to
that
do the
relevant?
less. Okay, all right, good. We can take note of that. The folks who have lived here for less than 10 years, what I want to say directly to you is, you're welcome.
Why is that?
You're welcome.
No, that's a red herring. Why is that relevant?
Because this community, we constantly want to.
Stop already, you, stop.
You wanted this implement. Why is that relevant? You're shutting out people who live in the neighborhood
Next topic.
for shorter tenure.
What about show of hands for just whether we support the whole thing or not? To see how the
Okay, all right, we're gonna go to topic number 3, and then if there's any leftover time after that, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, topic number 3, is more study needed? Okay, now there we can do a show of hands. How many folks believe that we need, yes, okay, well, somebody take a picture of this one. Okay, all right,
How many
okay.
think we don't need any more study or any more community input?
Given their plan, may I ask a question about this?
Yeah, okay.
It's not appropriate for the embassy to be making commentary.
You have a question? You have a question?
I do have a question about this, yeah. I can speak.
Go ahead.
All right. I just want to address some misinformation that was put in here to frame this question appropriately. When we're talking about needing more study, this panel is an expert on what fits the character and what they envisioned, which I want to say is a little bit of fear-mongering of what happens to the neighborhood. This study has considered that there are opportunities for good zoning. It does not guarantee this canyon. It identifies great opportunity to increase housing, the #1 most unaffordable thing facing Americans today. Other leading cities are following fast on this. Number 2, historical and orange-sided buildings, as you called out, are given special consideration in grace periods before they are developed on. That includes the developer and the owner of the building. Nobody's going through with the wrecking ball looking to take down the antique store.
We really don't know for sure.
They do have a
Let's
consideration.
grab your question. Go ahead.
Yes,
Can
thank
you
you.
your question?
The third is when there is an impactful decision for a development in the neighborhood, which, again, I'm going to lean into this phrase as fear-mongering when we talk about casinos, hotels, entertainment centers, large developments like this.
the community is specifically involved. The city is not going to move forward again with the wrecking ball and knock everything down.
Okay, so can we
The
please get to
question,
the
the question is, why are we even asking this question? When the development committee has considered all of these things, has given ample opportunity for the community, not just to, hold on, I'm not done, not just to ask questions now. They are going to provide opportunity for input in the future. And the third thing I need to say about this for future study needs is, why are we asking if we need this when it has been proven that cities that have success in developing for density in neighborhoods do it by blocking the barriers needed for development in neighborhoods, by not doing what was alluded to, this onesie-twosie selection of what we feel fits the community and letting the community see the fruit of what development. Why do we need more study? We have plenty. We have plenty. And on the 30th, they can talk about it.
Thank you for the question. This question was, why do we need more study? Okay, wait, I did have one here and then one over here. All right. Okay, is there a microphone over there? Yeah. Go ahead.
There's a mic right there. There you go.
Go ahead, Kelly. You have the floor.
Hi, my name is Killian. I live at Winthrop. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, just put it up to you. Yeah, right up.
My name is Killian. I live at Winthrop and Berwyn. I grew up in Old Town and I witnessed the biggest gentrification density removal called Cabrini Green, and then another population moved in, which was mainly Caucasian. I lived through Lakeview and I've been priced out of there, so I'm a renter and an older owner of a modern condo. The thing that bothers me the most is the removal of the public comment. And with developers, the nice thing about that, when you had a variance or zoning change, you would have a community meeting. You know, things can change, but we gave constructive advice. That's how we got Edgewater Environmental going with green initiatives, with structural, with safety. I've experienced, nothing personal to the 48th Ward, 2 violations or concerning of ethics with the ZBA. They're a public meeting, I was never allowed to come, and with the Director of Development who manipulated paperwork to get a moratorium lifted at my neighborhood, and with 6500 North Winthrop, there was no communication. And you know what, it might be nice you don't drive, but I live in a neighborhood with refugees, immigrants, and I've lived here, I'm old. And people need cars, I'm sorry, it's a luxury for us not to.
Thank you. So what you're saying, Killian, is that you would appreciate more study? Okay, you would appreciate more study.
Well, I was answering a question too, but I got yes.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Go ahead and pass it to Jack. Jack, let's go ahead and talk about. These are the panelists.
You know, I don't understand. I don't like this, that this is being posed as like, are you for affordable housing or are you against it? Are you for development or are you against it? No, you're wrong. And you think that there's been some great degree of study and consideration that's been done in the background by the planning department as they've prepared this? You're crazy. I mean, this is like, do you think, for instance...
Are we trading insults?
Okay.
Jack, you
Stop
vote for
it.
the city,
Stop
so
it.
are you saying that the city staff
All right, listen.
aren't competent?
Do you think there should be a difference? Let me ask you this, you guys that are the planners and so forth. Do you think there should be a difference in treatment between the west side of Broadway and the east side of Broadway?
No.
No. Well, so you don't think there should be any credence given, any weight given to the single-family homes on the back on the alley? You're against that.
It's a single-family home in Edgewater.
That doesn't sound like a very planning-oriented
one of the
response.
densest.
Okay.
Jack, you're playing games and you're being deceptive.
Okay,
And the
all right.
thing is, the zoning advisory committee has been voting to support the level of density that we're simply trying to
Let's
approve here.
stop with the side conversations, okay, right now. Thank you, everybody. This is everyone is passionate about this topic, which that's a good thing, okay? So we've got a lot of passion here. I don't think we're that far off. I think we just need to get together. I don't think we're that far off,
Yeah, we
okay?
are. We are.
So, okay, stop. Okay, I'm the eternal optimist here. I don't think we're that far off. Basically, we're saying that we need more study, okay? Yes, she has, and I'm coming to you right now. Okay, my love, what do you have to say? Go ahead.
My name's Jean. I live in West Ridge, so I'm not filling out the survey. I just want to say one comment, my opinion about this whole upzoning proposal, and that is, unless and until there is an overwhelming, self-initiated comment from the residents, both residential and business residents of this area that they want to do this upzoning, it should just be done. The initiative for making the zoning change should come from the grassroots, the people and the businesses who are here. Otherwise, tell the DPD just dump the whole thing.
The Edgewater and Uptown Chambers.
So that was that 30,000 foot view as opposed to the 1,500 foot view. Okay, all right, great. Okay, there's one all the way in the back. The man in the brown shirt here. Come on up, make your comment, and then we're going to go ahead and get a few parting comments and then wrap this up. It's a beautiful day out there. Let's go be neighbors in Edgewater, folks.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
No? How about now? Okay. Hey guys, my name's Abdi. Right now I live at basically Broadway and Lawrence, so 46th Ward. I grew up in Chicago, Artist Park, live in Uptown now. So I want to say that can you hear me? No.
Hold the mic close. Put the mic to your mouth.
Closer? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, grew up in Rogers Park. I'm in Uptown now. My parents are still in Rogers Park, so I've been in this area a minute. You know, trick-or-treating at Edgewater Glen, that was the spot. All these areas. So yeah, anyway, I want to say that I like this plan. Truthfully, I'm 23. All my friends are young as well, and there's really a lot of bad stuff going on in the renting realm, in the homeowning realm. It's just like the prices are getting out of hand, and people want to live here. Obviously, there's a lot of reasons to want to do that, and I guess I'm just disappointed because this neighborhood is supposed to be like a welcoming, diverse, progressive area, and we have a lot of people in the crowd that are in favor of running to the government to lobby it to prevent other people from living here. I think that's just not. I mean, look, that is what restrictive zoning does. My parents wouldn't be able to have raised me and my brother here if apartments weren't allowed in Rogers Park and so on. And I think that we really need to build more housing because that's the source of why the costs are really high.
Okay.
This is already a very dense neighborhood with lots of apartments.
Yes, thank you.
The demand is not being met. That's
Okay.
I will have my question.
Okay, go ahead and ask your question. Perfect.
I'm not okay.
Okay.
I mean, DPD's not here, I guess, but look, we know that, reducing the red tape, reducing the restrictive zoning will allow the demand to be met. So why do we continue to demand study after study, meeting after meeting? This has been studied around the world. You allow housing to be built, and hopefully it will come.
Yeah.
We don't need more regulation in this specific area.
All right, it's lovely, it's great to hear from you, and thank you very much. Okay, we just have, we're gonna go ahead and give parting thoughts, parting comments to Pat.
Yeah, thank you. I can't make my microphone work. As the president of a block club and somebody who's lived here for 43 years, we have been through in this community all kinds of conversations about zoning and affordable housing. And it's always been a community conversation. And nobody, to my knowledge, has ever been against affordable housing or even development. In fact, as Jack's presentation showed, The zoning that's in place allows for a tremendous amount of affordable housing right now and a tremendous amount of development, and it's happening. It's happening, and we have more opportunities, and those include specific parcels on Broadway. What the problem is, and I want to just correct this, because I think there's a misunderstanding. Nobody on this panel, nobody in the block clubs that I know of, are saying we don't want development or we don't want affordable housing. What people are saying is the process needs to be one where we all look at where we're doing it. So we do it in a smart way, we do it so it does not cause other problems in the neighborhood. That's the way it's always been done in the 48th Ward in the past. And that's, it's not a question of whether. I think some people are not listening to what this other, we're not listening to each other, let me put it that way. There's nobody here against affordable housing. There are people here against it being done in a way that doesn't consult the community. You say there was, some people have said there was a lot of study. Well, interestingly, on many instances, the DPD has done a lot of study, witness Clark Street. But for Broadway, for some reason, this is being brought from on top, from downtown, and it's being put on our community, and no block club, no residents are shown anywhere as having been a partner, having been met with, having been consulted with. When you look at what Marianne Smith did, when you look at what Carrie Osterman did, you'll see that big meetings, going to the community, talking to the community, listening to the community, and then developing a plan that does not cause problems by having additional affordable housing. And it's not just additional affordable housing, it's additional housing. You know, understand the big buildings that are going to be built are going to be 80% market rate, and they're going to be far more expensive than existing buildings are. So let's all just be clear on that. We want to make sure that when that growth takes place, it considers the community. And it's surprising to me to hear people say we don't want more community input. And in fact, if you looked around the room when it was said, how many people think we need more study, I would say it was at least 90% of this room was saying more study.
100 people out of 55,000 residents.
Well,
this is
you
about
know,
100 people out of 55,000.
I'm not going to answer that. We can talk later. But let me just say, though, I think this has been a good conversation, and I think we're glad to have different voices in it. This is the kind of thing we want DPD to do. This is the kind of conversations in small groups. It's not a question of whether we're going to have additional growth. It's a question of how it's going to take place, whether it's going to be planned, and whether the community is going to be involved.
Okay, we have like 3 minutes. We're going to have a final comment, and then we're going to hear from our older person for last comments. Go ahead.
I'm just going to make one comment. Everyone will be happy here if we focus the density on the east side of Broadway. You can get a massive amount of housing on the east side. You don't have to distinguish both sides. East side is where it's all about, and the city, DPD, needs to study the ramifications of that. Parking, infrastructure, sewer, saving buildings, all of these aspects have to be looked at, but put it all there. You can get a massive amount of housing on the east side. Those lots are 250 feet deep that back up to an L-track. You can do everything you want, everyone can be happy, and we can have an extremely dense, beautiful, creative neighborhood.
All right. I just want to thank all the panelists, thank you Pat, thank you all the block clubs who've been involved. I do want to remind us of who we are. You know, we are Edgewater and parts of Uptown. Our median income here is $57,000 and our median age is in the 30s. You know, we want more families, we want more younger people, we want more units that will support our schools, our small businesses, all up and down Broadway. But not just that, we want to leverage the moment that we're in right now with the reconstruction of the Red Line, the first time in 100 years. This is Bryn Mawr, this is Berwyn, this is Argyle, and we want to protect the cultural assets that we have, including Asia and Argyle, where, you know, I am curious to know, are there any building owners here on Broadway in this room? Because yes, I'm interested in talking to you, because in fact, this could help you, you know, provide an opportunity for you to bring more jobs, you know, more business, more people. Nothing is going to change unless you are involved in this, okay? I want you to know that if there are 10 units built because of upzoning in a particular plot of land,
it's going to trigger the ARO. So we're going to have more affordability. If it's more than 100 units, it's going to trigger the planned development process. So you will not be shut out of any process at all. And I just wanted to say thank you again. Your input is absolutely necessary. Please come on Thursday at 6 o'clock to the Zoom meeting with DPD, and if you can't make it, it will be recorded and shared. There's going to be a lot of information. I want to say that there was some information here that was shared tonight that I can't validate. I believe some of it was